Hey guys, I'm Eric.
And I'm Nathan.
And we are
Notes
and Nerds. Hey guys. So today we're talking, as we said in the intro, real world effects versus virtual effects. And what's the pros and cons of both of them is what we're really going to talk about right now. Now, in real world effects, you get the benefit as an actor to work with the subject. You know, and it also looks more realistic. I mean, a good movie monster with a good company, like let's use Stan Winston Studios as a great example. They make some of the most lifelike, realistic props, and you believe it. You think it's really there. Whereas CG, it's come a long way in the last several years.
Yeah, and it has to relate a lot on the actor and their reactions to basically the dot on the screen.
And that is a benefit, though, really, because it really pushes the actor into a realm that maybe with a real-world effect, they can be lazy with and actually react to the thing. But now they have to use their imagination to really push their acting ability.
Yep.
But with CG effects, I mean, 5 years ago, CG kind of had a weird kind of, like human, like flesh, had a weird glisten to it, an unnatural glisten.
Cartoonish.
Yeah. And you can always tell, like the old original, the first Harry Potter film is a prime example. Great CG work, but they tried not to zoom in too much because you could really tell Harry Potter was animated there.
But in the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, like a lot of the stunts and stuff,
you could tell.
Yeah,
he glistened wrong in the city streets. So anyway, another thing too is with CG effects. One of the benefits, though, is the ability to go beyond what real-world effects can give you.
Yep.
You know, with like a real-world costume monster is limited to what animatronics the person can carry.
puppeteer.
And it's limited to really the human body. You can't make a monstrously tall giant using a man in a costume because it's not really feasible.
Yeah, they're not going to jump 50 feet up in the air like the CGI four-legged, two-headed dog will.
Yeah. So, I mean, CG has its benefits, but again, it's getting to a point, though, like the new Ninja Turtle film coming out next year,
Yeah.
that is yet to be seen how good the CG effects is, because it's going to use real people in CG suits, you know, basically little balls everywhere to pick up, the camera will pick up. It gives them the ability to give the realistic, lifelike movement that we all see, you know, in CG movies where there's
A real performance.
Yeah. A great example of what this is going to be hopefully like, Gollum.
Yep.
Real world person acting out in a costume that's designed to be, you know, a mocap suit, and then overlay the character. Precious. So, I mean, hopefully it all works out. So, I mean, really the benefits and the cons, the pros and the cons, it kind of, you take one, you get one. It boils down to that.
Yeah, and it all depends on the movie, because there is some, you know, real world effects that make awesome movies, you know.
But sometimes it's not feasible in another movie.
Yeah,
like,
but then CGI has some really awesome work that just totally blows your mind.
I'm going to throw this out as a complaint. Zombie movies. Zombie movies are starting to move, like World War Z uses a lot of CG animated zombies because they're trying to use massive, like thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of zombies running at you at the same time. And I've seen some still pictures, and the zombies just look cheesy. Now let's talk about Walking Dead. They use CG in that show. In the right. There's no cons to the right on this one. Like, okay, stabbing something into the eye of the actor as playing the zombie. I can't really stab you in the eye with a knife to kill the zombie because you're still a living actor. Insert hilt and handle of knife, no blade. Ha! What I saw on TV is a big-ass blade going right into your eye. And the zombies themselves, latex, rubber, and tons of fake blood.
Cool.
No CG zombies in that show. And I mean, that's one of those where I really will use an example of everything right as far as special effects are concerned. So, I mean, summer blockbuster movie you might have seen this year that uses a mixture of the two. What would be your top one?
The Summers?
The best real world and virtual effects all in one movie.
Oh dear. I don't know. That's a really hard one.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of companies that are working with the real world effects and the the special effects, and it's really hard because it all depends on the movie. And
I'm going to give you one.
okay,
Iron Man 3.
that is very
Iron Man 3, one major scene was what they called the Barrel of Monkey scene. It's Air Force One gets blown up, and everybody in it gets sucked out of this hole that was caused by an explosion. And Iron Man's got to go and pick up 13 falling people. And Jarvis, the suit computer, says he can only hold about 4. And it's all CG. They had actors strung up, doing the whole air blowing them from the bottom, make it look like they're falling. All around them is a green screen, and then the movie, all we see is this virtual effect. And when he zooms in, picks people up, there's a lot of CG, but it looks amazing. Then turn to, still in the film, the actual suit. He walks around in the suit. It's not a CG Iron Man walking around. It's
kind of like Ryan Reynolds with Green Lantern.
well, no, because Green Lantern, he had a green suit on, but they did the animation later. In Iron Man 3, it was a real suit that Robert Downey Jr. had to walk around in, and it looked functional. It looked like he could have done the movie in it, and that's one of my big examples of a lot of really well done special effects with virtual and real world effects. So we're going to take a little break for a second here, and then we're going to talk about our favorite companies and a few of the movies that they did and discuss a little bit.
I'm going to kick your ass! Your mama!
Hey, yeah, yo! Yeah! Hey, yeah, yo!
All right, so we talked about the pros and cons of virtual effects versus real world effects, and how they can complement each other or work against each other. But now what we're going to talk about is our favorite production companies for special effects in the industry. To start off, we're going to start with the legendary Stan Winston Studios. They've done gore effects and everything, but one of our favorites,
The Terminator.
the endoskeleton that they did for Terminator 1 and 2 was phenomenal. I mean, it looked like a freaking robot.
And they also did Predator.
The Predator, the costume effects in that was amazing. But like I said, they've done so many real world style effects that it's hard not to find a movie they didn't work on.
Yeah.
Then there is the legendary Ray Harryhausen,
War of the Worlds.
the original, not
Yeah.
the Steven Spielberg one, but the classic 1954 film. The use of miniatures and models. Even today's standards, watching that film, it's really hard to tell the
What-
difference
what?
sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it some places, but really, Ray Harryhausen really hit the home run on that movie.
Yeah.
Plus, he's done a lot of other stuff, with stop motion animation. And that's one guy he passed away some time ago, never got into the digital, and he's one of those that when people were starting to go that route, adamantly stayed away from it. Then we got the legendary, if you will, Industrial Light and Magic. Who are they? George Lucas.
Yep, same people that did Willow.
Your eyes, your whiskers, I just have to kiss you.
Willow is such an underrated film. The use of stop motion animation.
If you don't know what Willow is, go watch it.
Go watch it. Seriously, it's on Netflix. If you can't find it there, just go to Amazon.com and try to buy it. I mean, you're not going to be
Me
disappointed.
personally, one of Val Kilmer's best movies.
Yeah. But the stop motion for the dragon in that
Yeah,
movie
really
was
good.
really impressive. You could tell, it's stop motion. Honestly, you'd have to be blind not to, but it was still impressive.
One of the other things was the morphing.
Yeah, that morphing effect on the movie was impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah. Then there is Sony ImageWorks. Sony wanted to make a company to do special effects for a lot of their own movies, so they didn't have to pay somebody else. But
One of the big movies is Oz the Great and Powerful.
that's a Disney film, but still, this is one of those that's a con, honestly. They use way too much CG. I mean, a lot of green screen work, green screen props, everything. And it kind of takes away from the element of the film because it felt cheap. I mean, it looked beautiful, but too perfect. I know Oz was supposed to be perfect in a lot of ways.
But don't get us wrong, they still do some good movies like Spider-Man and Harry Potter flicks.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So with some cons, there's always some pros.
Yeah, they overdid it in Oz.
Yes.
Frame Store is another one.
Wow, World War Z.
We haven't seen it yet, but if you look at a lot of the clips, the preview clips,
Highly CGI.
zombie films, the big thing about zombie films is the special effects, the makeup effects especially. In these clips they show zombies running in hordes towards people, and it's a CG rendered horde of zombies. No. I still want to see the film. Don't get me wrong, it's a zombie film. Come on, I love zombie films. But zombie films, the biggest thing, even the cheesiest, dumbest zombie films out there, they still have some pretty darn good
Effects. The makeup,
effects.
the blood, the contacts, it's all really good stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, some stuff, like if you want to do like bone structure and stuff coming out of the zombie, yeah, but a full-on zombie, leave that to special makeup and stuff.
Yeah. Then there's double negative productions.
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight Rises is one of those films where you watch it, no matter how many times you watch it, even in 1080p, it's so hard to find the use of props and models and miniatures
CGI.
and CGI. I mean, I've watched that and I still am amazed by some of the stuff they've done. That movie's been out for two years ago. So, or
But now, wow.
So yeah, it's amazing. It was last year, sorry.
Yeah.
Then there's Digital Domain.
Tron Legacy.
The biggest thing for this film, I mean, it used green screen for everything, yes, but my biggest pinnacle is the Jeff Bridges.
Yes, Jeff Bridges.
When they did the virtual effect for another actor standing in for him, you know, same body structure and such from when he was in the original Tron from 1984 or 82. It was one of those two. I believe it was 82.
Early 80s.
They used a type of mapping process on an actor to give them the look of being Jeff Bridges 30 years younger. And it's something that's starting to be worked with in a lot of other movies along the route, especially for stunt doubles.
Yes.
Because, I mean, how many times we watched a movie and go like, that's not so-and-so.
Yeah.
Spaceballs made a great joke about that in that movie. So, but anyway, that was my pinnacle for that movie, the virtual Jeff Bridges.
Very much.
Weta Digital.
Oh god, you got Lord of the Rings, you got The Hobbit.
Their work for those movies is one of those. They use a great combination of camera shot angles to get certain appearances and a lot of CG stuff. I mean, a lot of the major battles of the good versus the evil was pure CG battles, and it worked. One of the real-world camera angle shots that they did was with Elijah Wood and Ian McKellen, where they're in Bilbo's house, and this was where Frodo is sitting far away from the camera, Ian McKellen is sitting closer to the camera, and what you get is the appearance of them actually sitting like this, but Frodo being smaller. And it was just literally a simple camera angle.
Camera trick.
Yeah. And but like I said too, this virtual effects that they used in the film were amazing. But they also had some great models too. But anyway, last and definitely not the least, saving our favorite for the last, Jim Henson Company's Creature Shop.
You have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you have Farscape, you have Muppets, you have Labyrinth, you have Dark Crystal, and yes, I love Jim Henson.
His work was always amazing. Oh, don't forget Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, yeah, the TV show Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for the work done in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where they used costumes that were latex rubber, using puppeteer animation, using radio control, because I mean the actors had to
Maneuvering.
carry around the equipment. Farscape is a personal favorite of an example of proper use of CG and real-world effects. In Farscape, a lot of puppeteering and makeup was used for, you know, regular shots. No CG for interior shots. But when it came to flying in space, CG. It was done well, even for a show done 10 years ago. Actually, longer than that. So that really just boom, right there for all of our favorites, and some examples of movies and stuff. But sometimes you don't need a major production company to give a good effect shot. A couple weeks ago we did
The Terminator.
and in that shot, in the opening sequence, I'm in a truck hitting the corner of a building. Now that's our only special effects shot in the whole piece. At the camera angle, it looks like I actually hit the building. However, we didn't want to wreck his mom's truck.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah. So, how do we get the shot? First of all, the truck was about the length of this table away from the corner. I mean, he was in there,
I was in the middle between the truck and the wall, shaking the truck.
and our camera person, Brahita, she was right there behind him, literally behind him, over him, angling in to see me. And now, so we got that shot, and the truck wasn't even moving for that. It's just timing of the camera itself. When I came running around and coming down the alley, the truck didn't move. It was still the same distance away from the wall. It's just that Bree was standing at an angle up in the alley, looking down, that it gave the
Trick photography.
I've actually had a couple people say or ask me that, how close were you? And I tell them, and they're like, I thought you were only like about that much from there. And I was like, nope, camera angle.
Yep.
So really, that's a great example of proper use of real world special
It's
effects.
on how you do it, what you need, simplify it, make it troublesome. It's just on what you want to do to get your shot.
To boil it all down and kind of close this off, I really think it's an issue when it comes to CG and real world effects, is everybody's wanting to use CG right now. They think it's going to save them money. Sometimes it does. I mean, especially for certain massive shots, you don't want to have to hire a bunch of extras. You don't want to have to close off a certain part of a city to shoot some massive destruction.
And for CGI, you can have your, 8-legged, 2-headed dog jump 50 feet in the air with no problem. But with real world effects, having a person do that, it's a little bit troublesome because you got to see what's in their, boundaries to do as a human being portraying this character.
But the thing with CG, don't use it if you don't need it.
Amen.
It's the only big thing.
Nothing's wrong with a puppet.
No, not really. I mean, proper makeup effects is sometimes a lot cheaper than going with the CG. So that pretty much
Wraps it up.
Yep. All right, guys. That concludes today's episode where we talk about real-world effects and virtual effects. It really boils down, in a nutshell, what works for the movie and the circumstances that bring in the need of either real-world or virtual effects.
Definitely. So remember, like, subscribe, watch, and share. Kumbaya, little toads.